Guys, welcome back to the channel. Fabrizio Romano here, as always, to keep you posted on the transfer market. Always many updates, always many stories. Today, guys, many things to say. And so we will go from Real Madrid, Vinicius, Camavinga, his future, to Barcelona, Bernardo Silva, and much more. Let's jump into it today. Guys, many movements on the market. April is here, the market is getting closer, movements are starting, so many things to say and to clarify at this stage of the summer transfer window getting closer. We start looking at that with the World Cup, with the end of the season, with obviously the big leagues, the Champions League, and the summer transfer window incoming. Let me start by mentioning an official confirmation of what I told you last week. It was the last weekend, exclusive story here also for my friends on YouTube. Bernardo Silva has decided to leave Manchester City on a free. And then this week, Manchester City confirmed that Bernardo Silva has informed the club about his decision to go, his decision to try something different. So the love story, and it's been a real love story, between Bernardo Silva and Manchester City, it's over. Bernardo will leave as a free agent. He has many possibilities in MLS, in Europe with European top clubs, and also in Saudi. So it's going to be on Bernardo, his family, his agent to decide what he wants to do next. But for sure, there is movement around Bernardo Silva. My understanding is that the decide of Bernardo would be to find his new club before the World Cup and not after the World Cup. This is the idea of Bernardo Silva. Let's see if it's going to be possible. Many questions I'm getting about Barcelona and Bernardo Silva. Barcelona a few years ago wanted Bernardo Silva. For sure, he was a top target, but was not possible to make it happen. There were Barcelona and PSG in the past. Now, for Bernardo, the idea of living in Spain would be really attractive, from what I understand. So probably Bernardo would be open to this kind of situation, but this depends on Barcelona. And now, Barcelona priorities. We will see what kind of decisions they will make for their priorities. I will come back on Barcelona in a minute. But the other breaking news of the day is coming from Madrid, because Vinicius Jr. in press conference ahead of Manchester City game says, I will sign a new contract at Real Madrid at the right time. But confirming a story I've always been telling you here on YouTube. I have, said Vinicius, an excellent relationship with Florentino Perez. So Vinicius clearly says that the confidence of the president is there, and he said that in press conference. So there is a fantastic feedback. Florentino Perez, even when Vinicius was in a difficult situation, even when from Saudi they were calling people close to Vinicius, even when Xabi Alonso was not playing Vinicius on a regular basis, and Vinicius was not happy, clearly, even in that moment, Florentino's always be there. Don't worry, and telling Vinicius that his future was going to be at Real Madrid. So this connection, Florentino-Vinicius, is too strong. The negotiations are continuing, but I always told you the contract remains on the table for Vinicius Jr. to sign, and Florentino Perez is the key factor here. Now, Vinicius goes public and says, Real Madrid is the club of my dreams. I want to stay at Real Madrid for a long time, and I will sign a new contract at the right moment. So I think the direction of this story is very clear. I wanted to clarify more things, guys, on Real Madrid and on Barcelona. On Real Madrid, many questions on Eduardo Camavinga. What's the situation of Eduardo Camavinga? First of all, guys, I think we should remind that Camavinga is a very important player. Maybe he had some moments, some difficult moments also against Mallorca the other day, not in his best form, but he remains a really, really important player. So we are not talking about a player, according to what I know, that is completely out of Real Madrid project. Real Madrid don't consider Camavinga out of the project or a player to sell at all cost. But in case of good proposal, Real Madrid could consider the situation of Eduardo Camavinga in the summer. That's the case, that's the situation. Then, if this big proposal, attractive for the player and attractive for Real Madrid, doesn't come, Real Madrid are not desperate. Camavinga is not going to be out of the squad or out of the project. Camavinga remains an important part of Real Madrid's squad. If a proposal arrives, they could consider possibilities if the player wants. Then, many questions about PSG and Camavinga. I'm not aware of concrete contacts between Paris Saint-Germain and Camavinga so far. Obviously, he's a French player, and so for Paris Saint-Germain to go for French talents, French players is always attractive, but in this moment, nothing more than this. From Premier League, some clubs are attentive to the situation of Camavinga. From Premier League, some clubs have started calling to understand the situation of Camavinga already at the end of February, not even now, so a few weeks and months ago. So let's see what happens there, if they receive the right proposal for Camavinga, if the player is attracted or not. But at the moment, I would keep an eye more on Premier League. Then, guys, to return on Barcelona, a topic is for sure Joao Cancelo. Joao Cancelo, because Cancelo is doing fantastic for Barcelona. Against Atletico, he was great in La Liga game. What I can tell you is that, I already told you in a video the other days, but to enter into details, Barcelona are in direct, regular contact with Jorge Mendes, agent of Joao Cancelo, because Cancelo wants to stay at Barcelona. He's a Barça fan, he absolutely wants to stay. But what I can tell you is that Barcelona want to keep Joao Cancelo. This has been the clear message coming from the club to the agent of the player, Jorge Mendes. Barcelona want to continue with Cancelo. Barcelona want Cancelo to stay, and they want to find a solution with Al Hilal, because remember, Cancelo is on loan at Barcelona. So now they need to negotiate, they need to find the best solution possible. Barca don't want to overspend, because they already have to invest on their priorities, to return on what I told you. So for sure, Barcelona are working on keeping Joao Cancelo at the club. That was my news in March, and it remains my news now. Barcelona, according to my information, are absolutely working to keep Joao Cancelo. Then, if you ask me what it means for Alejandro Balde, guys, on Balde, I already told you last month, and I maintain the same situation as Camavinga. There are many stories on Barcelona in this moment on players leaving, but Barcelona, for example, in the case of Alejandro Balde, are not actively working to sell Balde. Barcelona didn't tell the agent of Balde, sell him, find a solution, find the bid, bring the player away. This did not happen because Barde is still very young, has room for development, is considered a great player. So Barcelona are not desperate to sell Balde. It's a similar situation to Camavinga, compared to Camavinga. If they get an important proposal for Alejandro Balde in the summer, eventually from the Premier League or other clubs, let's see what's going to happen there, because financially for Barcelona to make some money with some players, we will see what's going to happen with several players. For Barcelona could be important, because obviously it's going to be a busy summer. Defender, maybe the striker, and all the rest they want to do. But at the moment, Barcelona are not going with the agent of Balde to meet clubs and say, please sign him. This is something that can happen sometimes in football at top clubs with players when they are out of the project. It happened at Barcelona, at Real Madrid, and all the clubs in the world. But this is not the case with Balde and with Camavinga. It's a different situation. If a good proposal arrives, this could be two players to watch in the summer, but these are not two players out of the project at Real Madrid and at Barcelona. This is the status of the story now. We will see what's going to happen from now to the summer. And so guys, let me know your thoughts on all these stories from Camavinga to Vinicius Junior, Joao Cancelo, but also Bernardo Silva. Where should he go next? And then also a situation of Alejandro Balde. Your opinion, guys, here in the comments. Remember to like this video, turn on the notification bell, subscribe to the channel, and see you soon here with Fabrizio. Ciao.